could exchange your foreign currency for temple currency. You could do all of this for a price. Now, buying and selling animals for sacrifice, exchanging currency, in and of itself was not an evil thing. But what we learn is that this is now taking place on temple grounds. Previously, it took place outside of the temple, but now this has all been moved onto the temple grounds. Jesus actually identifies the real problem when he makes this statement. You have turned my Father's house into a market. That was the result of them buying, selling, exchanging. So in other words, what Jesus says is, you are disrupting the focus of worship. This is a distraction. This is not what the temple is for. It would be like us having a coffee shop in the middle of the worship center. This is a distraction. This is not what the temple is for. It would be like us having a coffee shop in the middle of the worship center. That would be a distraction. Additionally, Josephus tells us that the guys in charge here, the money changers and the guys who are buying and selling, the guys who are fixing the prices, they were appointed by the priests and they were related to the priests. So this whole thing was kind of a racket. So it all became very mechanical, very ritualistic. You come, oh, and by the way, they had the authority to determine whether or not the animal that you brought, if you did bring an animal, was blemish-free. Because if it wasn't blemish-free, guess what? You had to stand in this line over here, and you had to exchange your foreign currency for temple currency, and then you had to go over into this line over here, and then you had to be sold an animal that was acceptable for sacrifice, and then you could sacrifice it, and then you're done. You're done. Jesus sees all of this going on, and he says, this is a holy place. This is my Father's house. And all of this is a distraction. It's taking away from the holiness of God. Now, here's the crazy thing about the nation of Israel. They've been in this position before. This all happened before, sort of this heartless, mechanical approach to the worship of God. Hundreds of years earlier, the prophet Isaiah says this as God speaks through him. What to me is the multitude of your sacrifices, says the Lord. I've had enough of burnt offerings of rams and the fat of well-fed beasts. I do not delight in the blood of bulls or of lambs or of goats. When you come to appear before me, who has required of you this trampling of my courts? Bring no more vain offerings. Incense is an abomination to me. New moon and Sabbath and the calling of convocations. I cannot endure iniquity and solemn assembly. That's a pretty heavy statement. Iniquity is a big word for sin. In other words, what he's saying is, I can't take it anymore. You come before me in worship and adoration, and there's sin in your heart, but yet you approach me with this sort of this feigned solemn reverence. Jesus says, if you were at the altar presenting a sacrifice and you remember you've offended your brother, forget the sacrifice. If you were at the altar presenting a sacrifice and you remember you've offended your brother, forget the sacrifice.
Shalom, all praises, glory, honor, and fear, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Wahabra Kakadash, and much love, honor, and mercy to the real ones, the brethren. And, this world, it teaches you the bigger the better. The bigger the better. It teaches you to be great, it teaches you to be a GOAT, greatest of all time. It teaches you to bigger is better, the biggest car, the biggest plate, the biggest amount of money, but really it's more of that, more problems, and when you look at this truth in these moments right now, is like this truth is small, but it's growing exponentially, meaning that it's not, even though it might like be on the it might seem like it's like fading away or losing its vigor, but really it's not, so the thing is with the wicked, they go one step forward, 10 steps backwards. The wicked, always transgressing and tripping and stumbling at the word, but with the righteous, the elect, the eternal ones, the immortal ones, the chosen, You know, they'll take 10 steps forward, and you know they might take 1 step back. You see, but it's a forward progress. You know, it's all positive. You see, it's all on the up and up. You know, climbing, being the better man every day, fighting. You know, being the best you can be. You know, not the best and the biggest of this world, but the best version of Yahushai, the best servant that you can possibly be. You know, giving it your all, and that has nothing to do with like getting bigger, carnally. You know, getting more money and getting more gold and silver and getting more women. It has nothing to do with that. You know, being bigger and greater and shit like that. You see, so that's something you have to understand with this truth. Like, the Lord is increasing us in the mind and in our heart and in our spirit to carry our cross every day and to bear the reproach of many. You see, many are gonna hate us, not understand us, because people fear what they don't understand. So people are gonna feel uneasy around us. You see, because you know the way we're going is totally contrary to this world. You see, so without us even like saying certain words or even, you know, confessing to be a Jew, like Yahushua, there came a point in time where he couldn't even confess openly that he was a Jew. He couldn't walk openly. But just the vibration, the spirit, the frequency that's upon us is gonna make, you know, these great, big, haughty, proud people and guys just not feel right, and that's how it's supposed to be. You see, just as Yahushua was a rock of offense, we're also rocks of offense, built upon that chief cornerstone. Now, going to Jeremiah 2 and 20, matter of fact, I'm sorry, verse 19, it says, thine own wickedness shall correct thee. So, men's own sins is what's condemning them. It's what's accusing them, is their own sins. You know, like when you go into Job, you know, Job says, thine own mouth accuseth thee, thine own mouth condemns thee, and not I. You see, men are actually telling on themselves, you know, because now that we're in, another thing I want to say about this world in these times is like, everything of this world is distractions, man. It glitters. It seems like it seems so nice and good on the outside, but internally, on the heart, it's wreaking havoc, man. It's giving you heart problems. It's high blood pressure. It's stress. It's excess, having too much. But see, when you're small and you only have a little bit, then you make room for the Lord to dwell with you. You see? The Spirit to be with you. You see? So, going into this says, thine own wickedness shall correct thee, and thy backslide shall reprove thee. Know therefore, and see that as an evil thing and bitter, that thou hast forsaken the Lord thy God, and that my fear is not in thee, saith the Lord God of hosts. So, the fear of the Lord is not in men. What's in them is the fear of man and the fear of camps, the fear of losing their job, the fear of losing money and carnal things, which the Lord said, if you're not willing to lay down your life or lose your mom and your wife and your children and so on and so forth, then you're not worthy of him. So there's many partaking of this meat and this wine and eating and drinking of Yahushua's sacrifice unworthily. And that's why men saying at their own mouth, oh, we're not in the new covenant, we're not in the New Testament. Because they're not. See, they're telling on themselves. They're telling you the truth in that aspect. They're not in the new covenant. They're not in the New Testament. And that's why, guys, you got these reprobates, man, these famous men, these great men, GMS, all these camps. You see, but we're coming at the heads. See, like Micah did. He said, oh, ye heads of Israel, hear this word. So you got guys talking about emojis or the modern day hieroglyphics. That Yahushua wasn't in that spirit. You see? He wasn't in that spirit. You know? The Lord's talking about teach things that edify, that bring out Yahushua, that bring out the best in men. But guys that bring out the worst in men. Because they're telling you to be big, get 1,000 subscribers, be like them, make this shit into a pyramid scheme. Guys are a bunch of scammers in these last days. The Lord said there would be many wolves in sheep's clothing. And a lot of you guys that are deceived, you're just as bad as a deceiver, you see? Because birds of a feather flock together. And that's written in Sirach as well. Every beast shall like his own, you know? So the truth shall follow those that follow the truth that practice in her, you know, roughly paraphrasing. So if you would go, you're totally gone in this moment right now. Because we're in the moment of truth. We're in a moment of exposure of everything being exposed, and everything that was hidden being brought to light, whether it's good or bad. You see? So it says, for of old time I have broken thy yoke and burst thy bands, and thou sayest, I will not transgress. When upon every high hill and under every green tree thou wanderest, playing the harlot. And think about harlot, she's for everybody as long as you got some money. You see, some filthy lucre. So guys are just like harlots in that they're for everybody and anyone that's willing to give them money, give them tithes. You see? They will see, guys, they talk about the carnal things like, oh, yeah, we'll call this Edomite an Israelite just so he can give us money. You see? You know, even though we understand that certain Israelites are going to look like different nations, but just guys, they really like are very demonic and devilish like that, man. They'll pull crazy, deep, demonic shit like that. And many other examples. Jeremiah 3:13, it says, only acknowledge thine iniquity that thou hast transgressed against the Lord thy God, right? And guys that aren't acknowledging it, they're not humbling themselves, they're not acknowledging their sins, they're not confessing their sins and forsaking them. They're hiding their sins and they're keeping their sins. They're full of iniquity. That's why the Lord's going to say, a lot of you guys, I never knew you, depart from me. He never knew you because you didn't depart from sin. You kept the sin. You kept death. You loved death rather than life. You hated Yahushua. When Yahushua was on the judgment with Pilate and our people, they wanted a murderer rather than Yahushua, a prophet. Same thing now. People would rather have murderers. They'd rather have Tupac back than Yahushua and the prophets, you see? Because if you're not right, the word of the Lord is going to torment you in your mind. It's not gonna sit right with you. Because a lot of guys, they have a high seat here that they don't want to give up. They don't want to sacrifice. You see? Like the brother was going into a video of Moses. Moses, he denied being Pharaoh's daughter, man. I mean, Pharaoh's daughter's son. Excuse me. You see? Because with that came what? Came all the praises of men. Came all the honor, high honors, and praises and worship. You see? But Moses, his heart was after the Lord. He was worshiping the Lord. Same thing with the elect. It says that thou hast transgressed against the Lord thy God, and hast scattered thy ways to the strangers under every green tree, and ye have not obeyed my voice, saith the Lord. So they don't obey the voice. And what's the voice of the Lord? The voice of the prophets. The voice of his prophets. That's how the Lord speaks. So simply with men disagreeing and not accepting and receiving the prophets in these last moments, these last few seconds of this wicked demonic kingdom, that goes to show you that they are disobedient, man. You know, which is as a sin of witchcraft. They're practicing witchcraft, sorcery, wizardry, enchantments. You see, that's what we're dealing with in these last moments. Revelation 10:7, but in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God shall be finished, as he hath declared to his servants the prophets. So it's a mystery, and it's a secret. And Lord, he has to reveal himself unto you. See, Lord, he's chosen you. You don't choose the Lord. See, camps didn't choose the Lord. The Lord chooses what camps he's going to be with. He's with the men that's gathered in 2 or 3, that have been kicked out of synagogues, that have been defamed, hated, persecuted, threatened. You see, that's the prophets of the Lord, not you guys that are double honored. You guys that are double honored are what? You receive your consolation one, and you're part of the false prophets. You're part of those that killed the prophets, the real ones. That's why it says in 2 Chronicles 36:16, they mocked the prophets of God, meaning that they were acting like the prophets when they really wasn't. You see, and you know, this world's so fake. Where, you know, I was talking to the brother earlier as well, and you know, you'll have certain people, they'll straight up lie to you, you know, and try to get close to you, and all of a sudden you start to find certain things out, and you find out they're absolute catfish, they're lying and shit. This world is full of those kind of people, man. You see, they can never have enough. They need this, they need that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get away from those kind of people, man, because they can never. They're not see, they're never full. You know, so just like an abyss, right? Or like a good example, the grave. Like the Lord talked about the grave, which is never full. They're never full. They're just like the grave. They're dead. They're never full. You know, there's matter of fact, let me get that precept. So this world just embodies the spirit of the wicked that can never be satisfied and just always need more and more and more. They can never cease from wickedness, because wickedness goes into full of labor, always doing something, always having to do something instead of, praying and worshiping and meditating on the Lord. Proverbs 27:20, hell and destruction are never full. You see that? But see, if you have the spirit and life and heaven in you, came heaven and dwelling in you, you have life, you have salvation, mercy, love, kindness, charity, judgment, then you're going to be full. You see? You're going to be entire, wanting nothing. Then you're not going to go to Esau in this world and beg them for shit. You see? Because we understand who's the one that feeds us and takes care of us is the Lord and Lord only, man. Really? It says, hell and destruction are never full, so the eyes of man are never satisfied. And men, they're actually following their eyes, and they're walking after their sight. They're judging after the sight, which that's wrong judgment proceeding from the scribes. It's wrong judgment proceeding from the rulers of our nation. You see? And this is where we come in to set things right. You see? Because if it wasn't for the Lord speeding up the days, no flesh be saved. Deuteronomy 12:1 says, these are the statutes and judgments which ye shall observe to do in the land, which Lord God of thy fathers giveth thee to possess it, all the days that ye live upon the earth, right? So we're in the midst and times of possessing this world and taking the kingdom, and the Lord shall reign forever and ever. So, I was talking to the other brother again earlier too, and it's heavy because each and every one of us that's having the spirit, we're all getting like more and more responsibilities. And with responsibility comes patience, comes sacrifice. Matter of fact, let me get this quote real quick. Maturity, another that comes with responsibility. So real quick, let me just get the definition of responsibility. It is the state or fact of having a duty to deal with something or having control over someone. Whoo! And the Lord said, those that have control of this spirit is more mighty than those that can pull down a city. So it's all about control, in that word, responsibility goes into authority. And that's what the men of the Lord, that's what we teach. And we teach in the authority of the Lord, not as the scribes and Pharisees and guys in GMS and all these other camps. We don't teach like that. You see, blindly following the blind, not knowing who the hell these guys are. See, we have the eyesight. We can see through the gross darkness of all you people, all you guys out there. You see? It says authority, control, power, leadership, management, influence, duty. This is going into responsibility. And it's heavy because responsibility basically goes into tasks. Like you have to do certain things. You have to do jobs. So we're very busy. And so we have to manage our time wisely and redeem the time and give it back to the Lord. You see? It says the state or fact of being accountable or to blame for something. Right? So we're being held accountable for this word and why things are happening because we're bringing it to pass. We're speaking the word and the judgment's coming speedily. You see? A thing that one is required to do as part of a job, role, or legal obligation. A moral obligation to behave correctly toward or in respect of, right? And we have to behave correctly in this ministry, and you have to deal correctly with your brother. You have to love your brother as yourself. You want to do something to your brother that you want to be done to you. And a lot of guys don't have that. They don't have that understanding, which is a mystery of Yahushai. But men think it's just a simple thing, but it's not. This is the simplicity of Yahushai, but it's a mystery to those that are big and great and have all kind of carnal things as well that blinds them from the true riches of the Spirit. So let me get this, read this quote real quick. And it goes, it says, responsibility is accepting that you are the cause and the solution of the matter, you see? So it begins with Yahushua the Word, and it's going to end with Yahushua the Word. And those that are with him, let me get Revelation. (17:14) says, "These shall make war with the Lamb." So, this whole world and guys, even in this truth, quote unquote, are making war with Yahushua. And if they could, they're so carnal and demonic and wicked. They do the same thing that they did back when Yahushua came, when they betrayed him, they mocked him, they beat him and tortured him and killed, murdered him. So it's all like falling upon us now, you see, because we're representing Yahushua. It says, "These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful." You see, so those that are with the Lord, they're gonna have those kind of characteristics. They're gonna be, their phone's gonna be ringing. The spirit's gonna be ringing. Their head's gonna be ringing. They're gonna be getting them alerts, them signs. They're gonna be a sign of being chosen. And they're going to be showing their works by their faith. You see, by our faith. All right. Deuteronomy 12. So let me get to the point. Deuteronomy 12 and verse 3 says, matter of fact, 12:2 says, "Ye shall utterly destroy all the places when the nations which ye shall possess serve their gods upon the high mountains and upon the hills and under every green tree." So our people were doing the same thing with the heathens. They were under every green tree, in these governments and these rulerships, and they were serving other gods other than Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Same thing now. So it's so demonic because guys will have the name of the Lord, and they're not serving Yahushai. They're not serving Yahushai as their master. They're serving themselves. They're just using the name of the Lord for clout. See, just like someone might know someone that's a celebrity, or whatever. They might have a picture, or they might know them somehow, and they'll just use them to get clout or money or praise, or, "Oh, look at you, you're so cool." You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of shit. And when people do that kind of stuff, they're very insecure about themselves. They don't feel good about themselves, and that's demons. That's legions. When you can't, be real with yourself, and you always have to be around people and stuff like that, and surrounded by the masses. But nonetheless, let me get this next precept. The spirit. Job 8 and verse 5 says, "If thou wouldest seek unto God betimes and make thy supplication to the Almighty, if thou wert pure and upright, surely now he would await for thee and make the habitation of thy righteousness prosperous. Though thy beginning was small, yet thy latter end should greatly increase." You see? So now that we're at the latter end, we're greatly increasing, not in the carnal, but in the spirit, in the mind, in the faith, in the power, and the authority, and the responsibility. It says, "For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to search of their fathers," right? And not just our forefathers that were doing righteous acts, but also the fathers that murdered the prophets, seeking them out. The Lord said, talking about the candles, he shall seek Jerusalem, search Jerusalem with candles, seeking those that are settled on their leads. And a lot of guys are settled on their leads. They're not really doing what they should be doing with the time that they have right now. They're not being responsible. You see, they're being irresponsible. You see. Psalms 119 and 141, "I am small and despised," you see. So us that are small and looked at as little, or little child, or nothing, we're something, we're gonna be despised and hated, because we're actually something very, very important in the spirit. "Yet do I not forget thy precepts, Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth, right? And the whole law is fulfilled, right, in one word, Yahushai, and in 2 commandments: love the Lord and love your brother. Simple as that. And guys, they make it all complicated and make you to like basically like what guys do with these false elderlies do and shit. These false prophets, what they do is like they don't make it clear for you to really see. Like they don't like heal your vision. They keep shit blurry for you so you can't understand the whole concept of this truth. You know, you think it's of alms and tithes, you think it's of titles and being accepted of men. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with you being accepted of the Lord. You see? And not just talking a big talk, but actually walking it. You see? So this word, despise, I am small and despised, right? And this is the elect. This word despise is baza, going into be vile, worthless. So the reason why we seem worthless is because we're not full of extortion and excess and mad money and this and that, all the subscribers and this and that third. So they call the good evil and evil good. They put everything upside down because they're anti-Yahushua. They're against the Lord. They set their mouths against the heavens. You see? Amos 7:5. Then said I, O Lord God, cease, I beseech thee, by whom shall Jacob arise? For he is small. You see? For he is small. So Lord, he's helping the little ones. He's with the little ones, the remnant. Isaiah 1:9. Except the Lord of hosts had left us a very small remnant, we would have been Sodom, and we should have been unto Gomorrah. And when you got guys talking about Solomon's penis and and this and that, that's very like effeminate, man. You know. And what was the other heresy guys are bringing out now? They're saying Solomon was a sodomite. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I mean, that's just adds to scriptures, and then they try to hit back with, oh, you're being emotional, you're not mature. No, it has nothing to do with that. Strong meat belongs to those that exercise thereby, and that's not the strong meat. The strong meat is Yahushai. The heavier matters of law, faith, mercy, and judgment, not fucking carnal shit as men penises. You see, it's very demonic, and that's why the Lord's gonna kill a lot of men. Mark 3:9, and he spake to his disciples that a small ship should wait on him because of the multitude, lest they should throng him. For he healed many, insomuch that they pressed upon him for to touch him, as many as had plagues. And unclean spirits, when they saw him, fell down before him and cried, saying, Thou art the Son of God. And he straitly charged them that they should not make him known. You see? So the work of the Lord is hidden. And Yahushua wasn't up there like, yeah, make sure you kiss my feet, like these fucking abbots and these guys like that. Yo, look my boot. You see? That's not the spirit of Yahushua. Yahushua said, don't tell anyone who I am. You know? He didn't say subscribe to my channel. Promote me, all that carnal shit, that clout, social media shit, So the reason why Yahushua told his disciples to make a small ship, because even though Yahushua was healing many people, not everyone was able to be healed. You see, so same thing now, And matter of fact, let me get this word for a throng. They try to, because they were going to throng him. Because of the multitude, lest they should throng him. And the multitude is going to perish. The multitude is going to perish in these times. It says to throng is to, metaphorically, to trouble, narrow, straighten. You see? So, lest the multitude should trouble him, you see? Matthew 8 and verse 7, it says, And Yahushua saith unto him, I will come and heal him. The centurion, matter of fact, let me start at verse slack here. But But nonetheless, brothers, we're in a very special time. So, like the Lord said in Deuteronomy 7:6, Israel is a special people. They're peculiar. We're in special times, and these times are for the special men that the Lord has given to his Son. And the Son is giving them the world and everything in it. So they're not, the things with the true servants and the men of the Lord, the sons of God, is that they're not going to make haste to become rich. They're not going to sell out and take a bag and do corrupt shit. All they have to do is just be patient, suffer long, put this work in. Mark 8 and verse 7, and they had a few small fishes. You see, this is all they had. And he blessed and commanded to set them also before them. So they did eat and were filled, and they took up the broken meat that was left, 7 baskets. And they that had eaten were about 4,000. He sent them away. You see, so with the few small fishes that Yahushua and the disciples had, once they blessed it and they gave the command, guess what? It increased to feed thousands, and they still have some left over. So where there's a Lord, where the Lord is, there is a way. But where man is, there's no way, you see. With the Lord, all things are possible. With man, nothing is possible, you see. It all comes by what? Faith and works, you see. And when you look at the story of Peter, when he was toiling all day, he didn't catch any fish the whole day. And then Yahushua told Peter, he said, cast your net out there one more time. And Peter said, nonetheless, Lord, as you say, I'm going to do it. And that one last thrust of that net into that sea, he caught, he hit the jackpot, man. And that's like the elect in the spirit, They understand that you have to dig and dig and dig, and then you find the gold. Then you get the diamonds. Then you get the precious rubies and stones. You see? And that's what we're doing. We're digging, getting our hands dirty. We're digging. We're in the dark. No one really realizes us, But eventually we're going to get that chief cornerstone, Yahushua, the stone. You see? That salvation, that deliverance. That's what I'm going into. John 2 and 15, it says, 14, it says, and found 13, and the Jews' Passover was at hand, and Yahushua went up to Jerusalem. And this is going into the first Passover, cleansing the temple, you see. So the temple's being cleansed as well as now, because we're cleansing our people's minds into thinking, telling them what's right and what's wrong. It says, and found in the temple those that sold oxen and sheep and doves and the changes of money sitting. And when he had made a scourge of small cords, he drove them all out of the temple, and the sheep and the oxen, and poured out the changes of money, and overthrew the tables, and said unto them that sold doves, take these things hence, make not my father's house an house of merchandise. You see, and what these wicked, corrupted men do is that they make merchandise of you, men that are deceived by these corrupted leaders, man, these perverted camps. They make merchandise of you, man. That's what they're doing. They're making money off your ignorances, off of you not knowing who they are, and not knowing who the real is, who the Lord is, you see. The blind leading the blind. 2 Peter 2 and 3, and through covetousness shall they with vain words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not. Right, because their damnation has arisen. It's awoken, and it's speaking. James 3 and 4, behold, also the ships, which though they be so great, and are driven of fierce winds, yet are they turned about with a very small helm, whithersoever the governor listeth, right? So wherever Yahushua wants us to go, it's going. And he's doing it through what? The very small helm, the small little sanctuary, the few men that's left. We're really guiding this thing in the way it should go. So let me read that again. Behold, as also the ships, which though they be so great, and are driven of fierce winds, yet are they turned about with a very small helm, whithersoever the governor listeth. Even so the tongue is a little member, and boasteth great things. Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth, right? And the fire has been kindled, like Luke 12:49, and also in Sirach. Lord said he's going to kindle justice as a light. And Lord said, what will he if be already kindled? So it's already been kindled. Everything's being spoken already. Now those fierce winds are being blown. And the four angels in Revelation 7, they're almost at their time. We're going to let loose those four winds of destruction. Let me just get this word for helm. These great ships, they're turned by the small helm, man. This word helm.
Strong's G 4079, Pedalion.
Right, and this is the ship's rudder. All right, it's a pedal. A flat piece hinged vertically near the stern of a boat or ship for steering. Right, and steering is going into which direction you're going. So that's heavy. If you don't have a steering wheel in your car, yeah, you can have the fucking V8. You can have it all freaking torqued up, freaking growling, mad loud, It can go freaking 500 miles per hour. But, bro, if you don't got a helm, if you don't got a steering wheel, good for nothing, man. You see, you get a crash, you get a die, you know what I'm saying? It's just a waste of power and greatness. This word steering is the action of steering a vehicle, vessel, or aircraft, right? It's going into of a person, guide, or control the movement of a vehicle, vessel, right? Someone. For example, by turning a wheel or operating a rudder. Be guided in a specific direction. Follow a course in a specified direction. Guide the movement or course of someone or something, right? And that's what we're doing. Matter of fact, Paul said, I'm going to close off here, Slakia. Paul said he was a guide to the blind. You see that? That's Slakia. Romans 2 and 19, it says, Romans 2 and verse Romans 2 and 16, in the day when God shall judge the secrets of men by Yahushua Mashiach according to my gospel. You see, so that's what's happening, man. The Lord, he's establishing the lowest in the church, the smallest, the littlest, to judge, because they're not going to take the deal. They don't care about being in the high seat. They care less about the high seats. Let me read that again. The day when God shall judge the secrets of men by Yahushua Mashiach, right, the author and finisher of our faith, according to my gospel, right? So according to the gospel, this is how the Lord's going to judge the secrets of men, what they think that no one else knows or realizes. Behold, thou art called a Jew, and restest in the law, and makest thy boast of God, and knowest his will, and approvest the thing that are more excellent, being instructed out of the law. 19 the point, and art confident that thou thyself art a guide of the blind, a light of them which are in darkness, an instructor of the foolish, a teacher of babes, which has the form of knowledge and of the truth in the law. You see? And basically, the law is rules and regulations. Like if you do something, then good. But if you go against it, then you have to suffer the consequences of you breaking that rule, to the judge and the judges, you see. But Lord, when you was edified, man, by this, I pray you real out there. All praises, glory, honor, and fear. Yahweh Bashim Yahshai, Warakakadash, Baba Ball, Shalom.